Hey guys, good morning everybody. Today is Tuesday, August 26th, 6:54 right now. Obviously, I'm late today. Sorry for the late start, guys. Couple of things. For one, I woke up late, alarm didn't go off, and then for two, my stream wouldn't go on for some reason. So, got everything fixed right here. It looks like we're ready to go. Looking at the orb today, so the orb did come up. It looks like, thankfully, I didn't take the orb because it looks like it didn't play through today. So it looks like I dodged a bullet by waking up late. So no entry for me today. The orb here looks like it came up, came back down, filled, hit stop loss, and then it shot right back up to its target right there. So the orb over here, unfortunately, was not a play for the day. And luckily, I avoided that trade. Looking over here at the momentum breakout, let me see what it looked like today. So for the momentum breakout, looks like this actually hit today. So the breakout for the momentum breakout did hit, but the orb did not hit for today. So momentum breakout right here hit full TP for 50 points, full TP on that one, but the orb here did not play through. So we'll keep looking for some continuation entries as we continue on here. Let me go and mark up the liquidity real quick. Should be some liquidity here. So looks like the bias is bullish for the day. So we'll probably be looking for buys for us. It's gonna mark up the closest liquidity. Not gonna go too far out. Not expecting price to really overextend that much today. That looks good. $30 minute, 50 minute, $10 minute, and back down to the 1 minute here. So we got a bit of a choppy market today. Looks like we didn't really miss out on much on the first 3 minutes of open, which is good. We'll keep looking for opportunities here. So the overall direction of market structure right now is currently bullish. You can see that the 1 minute's neutral, 5 minutes strong bullish, 15 minutes neutral, 30 minutes bullish, 1 hour is bearish, and the 4 hour here is bullish. So with that being said, if price continues to move up to the upside, then we'll probably keep looking for buys there. Looking over here at the overall trend, looking at the 1 minute, it's currently bullish, 5 minutes bullish, and the 15 minute has now confirmed to be bullish now. So that shows that price here is above the pivots, trend meter is green, pivots are angling to the upside. This indicates that we'll probably be looking for some possible buys here as price continues to follow through. Looking over here on the higher time frames, 30 minute, 1 hour, and 4 hour, you can see over here that price is bearish neutral. 30 minute is prices below the pivots, trend meter is red, pivots are angling down. 1 hour here, price is in between the pivots, pivots are going sideways, and the trend meter is blue. And here on the 4 hour, price is above the pivots, trend meter is green, pivots are angling to the upside. So with that being said, it's a bit of a mixed bias today with regard to overall trend. Higher time frames are pretty much mixed. 30 minutes low, is bearish, 1 hour is neutral, and the 4 hour is bullish. While on the lower time frames over here, price is pretty much bullish across the board. So with that being said, we have more of a bullish neutral um, overall trend for the day so far. Market structure here is more on the bullish side, but we are dropping a little bit, so this may be shifting to more of a neutral. You can see over here on the 1 minute, pretty much the 1 minute, 1 minute, 15, 30 minute, all neutral. 5 is bullish, 4 hour is bullish, and 1 hour is bearish. So with that being the case here, there's not really much of a very strong overall bias. One other thing that I will do here is I will put together the daily outlook. So the daily outlook for the day, I didn't get a chance to post it because, like I said, I had technical issues and I woke up late. But here we go. Let me set this up real quick. I already have it set up. I mean, it's crazy like how fast I'm able to do things. Like I literally just woke up like maybe 5 minutes ago and I was able to do all this super quickly because I've been doing this. My routine is like so straightforward that I can like literally just do all this stuff super, super quickly without having to without even having to think about it. So, all right, send this over to you guys real quick. This is the overall bias here for the outlook for the day. All right, so we got this ready to go. Do that in like a few seconds. Take this one off. So it's 5 out of 10 today. It's not really very strong. Kind of expected. So we got that right there. I'll go ahead and share this with you guys in the Discord as well. If you guys want this, I post this up every day in the Discord. So if you guys are in the Discord, Discord's free. You can join in on it if you want it. So the The bias for today is bearish neutral. So bearish neutral with a 5 out of 10 alignment. So with that being said, we might be looking for some bearish confirmation here, but it's only 5 out of 10, so we can still look for buys here. I'm looking for price to push up. If price does push up higher, I'm looking for opportunity for a high-low break and retest to the upside. So let me go ahead and put this over here in the Discord real quick for those of you who want it. All right. So very quickly, there you go, the daily outlook, guys. So right now I'm looking for price to basically establish this high. Once it establishes this high, I'll be looking for price to push above, break and retest this area, and look for opportunity right there at the 45,361. We don't have anything here yet, but we'll see. The overall ATR right now is currently 20, so it's not super high. It's pretty much neutral right now. It's average, if not lower. Um, but the overall market structure here is bullish. So you can see over here the 1 minute, 5 minute, 30 minute, 4 hour, all bullish right here. Looking over here at the lower time frames, the 1 minute, 5 minute, 15 minute, all bullish as well. So with that being said, I'm probably going to look for some buys here if price decides to kind of finally push to the upside. Right now, you can see the volatility is a little low and price is kind of just going sideways right here. So there's not really too much confluence here for us to look at, but we'll see here as price continues to move along. So we'll see. We'll see what happens here next. But if you guys are just joining in, guys, again, I started late today. Unfortunately, my I forgot to set my alarm, so I just woke up just because I'm used to waking up earlier. And then after that, I had some technical issues. I mean, go figure. I have technical issues the day that I start late with getting on the stream. But we are here now. So if you guys are just joining in, there's a couple entries that came up which weren't covered on the live. We had the momentum breakout here, hit full TP for a buy. And then we had the orb over here come up for loss. So two entries here so far. We are going to continue looking for opportunity for a buy here. Our overall direction right now is currently bullish with regard to market structure and lower time frame trend. The higher time frame trend here is a bit mixed, but the lower time frame trend is bullish along with the 4 hour here. So this indicates that buys should be the buys for now. at least for now. And we will continue along here as price continues to move in our direction. So I'm going to go ahead and mark up some structure here. So we have a support, which is right here. Support level right there. Another support level right there. Support level right there. And a support level right there. Then we have a, I guess consider this a minor gap or an imbalance. So, all right, looking at current market structure right now, guys, you guys can see here that pre-market was pretty much going sideways for a bit over here for, between 2 o'clock and basically market open. So we had a bunch of consolidation down here. Price pushed up, some more consolidation, and then it broke up this way. Price now pushed up further, and then we had some fake outs above here. So price pushed up, basically faked out, faked out, faked out, and now it's back in this middle range. So this is like kind of the meat of the market right now, down the middle. We have a possible high-low break and retest setting up right here, guys. So we have a possible high-low break and retest right here at 45,361. 45,361 for entry here for a buy. So we'll see if this here comes up. I mean, market here is not really moving too directional. You guys can see here that price is really just kind of going sideways along this area over here. Yeah, there's not really too much going on here. So if I'm looking for entry right here for a high-low break and retest, guys, I'm looking for price to break and close past this higher low right here, or this lower high. Um, Reason for that's because this is the closest high right now. So I'm looking for price to break past this area, retest it, fill the order, and then push up higher. That's the only setup that I'm looking for right now. Other than that, an MPSV2 may set up in a little bit. I'm gonna look at price action here. I need to make sure that it's a clean break. If it's not a clean break above retest, I'm not gonna take the trade. So I don't want it to come up, test it, come down, and then come back up later, right? I want it to hit right away, breaking close past lower high, retest, and continue up higher from there. We get about 5 seconds left on this candle here. Oh, thanks, Glenn. Yeah, so there's actually no low here established yet. So thanks, Glenn, for the big heads up there because we have a low here which is currently pending. Okay, yeah, thanks, Glenn. So there's actually no entry here, guys. Thanks, Glenn, for the heads up on that one. Because there was no low established there, this high here has not been established. So you can see over here that when price was reaching this area, it just pushed it higher, right? We initially had a lower high right there. And because this price pushed it up, this is now the lower high. So with that being the case, I'm still looking for opportunity right here at this higher high, which is going to be at 45,386. So this is the nearest untested high right now. So it's going to be at 45,386 actually. Yeah, good eye there, Glenn, on identifying that. All right, so there's going to be two things here that can be established. Either this high is going to be established by there being a new low, and then from there we can look for price to break and retest off this lower high, or we're going to look for price to establish this as the actual high, and then we'll look for price to break and retest above here. Ideally, I'd like a lower high, but if this is the case and price doesn't establish, then we'll keep looking for opportunities here. This right here is an imbalance. Price pretty much came back to retest this imbalance. The imbalance is now it looks like it's going to be invalidated if it closes above here. The imbalance was listed from this red candle to this one. But yeah, if this imbalance here gets invalidated, then I'll take this off and we'll look for another imbalance above. But right now, it's just kind of going back and forth, as you guys can see. Man, I'm really shocked that that I was able to avoid this this orb today. I was really set on taking the orb today too. Like yesterday, I just kept thinking about taking the orb because I was like, man, we haven't had an orb here in a while, or at least a clean orb. And thankfully, I was able to miss out on this one. I wasn't sure what the price action was looking like on this candle. I mean, maybe the price action was crazy and I probably would have skipped it either way. But yeah, really, really dodged a bullet on that one right there. So there was news this morning at 5:30. I'm going to mark that up. And then we had news over here at 6 o'clock. So 5:30, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. So we had news over here at 5:30, which was this kind of big candle. We had news at 6 o'clock, which was this little candle. And then we had news over here at 7 o'clock. There's actually a lot of news this morning right there, right? So we had news over here, durable good orders at 5:30 pre-market. Then we had some medium impact news over here, S&P Case-Shiller Home Price Index, basically more housing data. And then we did house price index right here at 6 o'clock. We have gas stock change, or sorry, not gas stock change. We have Dallas Fed Services Revenue Index and Dallas Fed Services Index at 7:30. It's low impact, but it's not so it's not really likely to push price around too much. I'll just mark it up over here just in case if you guys want to have an idea that there's some sort of news event coming up, but it's not high impact, so it's not really set to push the market around at all. It's just good to know that there is news coming up though. So there may be some sort of catalyst to really push price in a certain direction. Might not be anything too crazy, but it's good to know. So let me go ahead and mark up opening price over here as well at 6:30. Okay, so with that being the case, looks like we're in an upwards trend, right? Price is pushing up slightly. It's not a clean push to the upside, but it is pushing to the upside. So our first opportunity for entry is going to be right here at 45,686 for a high-low break and retest. It's going to be off this higher high right here. Unless we have a new low established, which it's not looking like. Because if that's not the case and we don't get a new low, then this lower high is just going to keep getting pushed up higher and higher as price pushes up higher from here. But looking at the overall market structure, it's very bullish over here. You can see pretty much every time frame except the 15 is bullish. So 1 minute, 5 minute, 30 minute, 1 hour, 4 hour, all bullish. Looking at my other screeners right now, everything is looking for the most part bullish right now too. This gap over here has been invalidated and mitigated, so there's no longer a imbalance there. There's a new imbalance right here, though. It's a small one, small but still valid. So we have a small little imbalance right here. So see how this lower high keeps getting pushed up higher? It's because there's no low yet, right? So as price continues to climb up a little bit higher and higher, this lower high is just going to follow through with it. So we'll see. I'm looking for a high-low break and retest right here off the 45,386. So this would be key right here. This is a key confluence. See how I marked up this imbalance right here? See how price is retesting the imbalance? I like this. I want this to happen where it retests the imbalance, breaks above, retests this high, and continues up higher. Right? It's like we're getting a double confluence over here. So this is good. Right here, we have another support, I believe. I mean, it's a little messy here, but there are support levels that are being established as price continues to climb up higher here. All right. Nothing here yet, but I do like this right here, break and retest off the imbalance. So this isn't considered a support, it's just considered an imbalance. I guess if I wanted to, I could change the color to something else, but I think it doesn't matter. I could leave it green because it is an imbalance from the bottom end after all. All right, cool. This is a really good confluence right here, guys. I do like this confluence. Now I'm looking for price to break and close past this higher high right here, which is untested. It's gonna be at 45,386. So I'm looking for price to break and close past the 45,386, retest, and continue up higher from there. Me and Alad, we had this mentoring session yesterday, and we discussed this. It's a really good confluence right there. Break and retest off the liquidity. Elad, so back in his time of trading, not that it's like super far behind, but he called it the crime scene, which I think was very interesting. The person he learned from before used to call imbalances the crime scene. So like, something happened here, a price pushed away with liquidity, came back to retest the crime screen, crime scene, and then it's pushing back up higher. So that's what I'm looking for right there. And we'll see. Kim said Trump is also participating in a cabinet meeting today, stepped away. Not sure if that's what you just said. Thanks, Kim. No, so I did not say that. Good to know. So Trump is having a meeting today with the cabinet. So there may be a surprise press conference that may happen a little later today. So that's good to know. Good to know. So if that's the case, if you see some random spikes of volatility, that's probably because Trump has something to say. Let's go over here to Financial Juice real quick. Financial Juice is a good resource to look at breaking news. Um, so Bank of Europe Mon says, I stand ready for forceful policy action. Form larger, more rapid bank rate cuts should downside risk to domestic demand start materializing. Okay, so that's good to know right there. And then also CB confidence was higher than expected. It was forecasted 96.5. It was at 97.4. Also another thing to have into consideration. All right, guys. So I'm looking for price to break past this area still. This higher high, 45,386. Price is getting closer to it, so we may get a break and close past it here in a few. I'll be watching it here to see if we get that. Okay, so we have a break past it, not a close, but we have a break past it right here. I'm gonna look at the price action. It has to close above it, right? I'm looking for it to have a clean close. If it doesn't have a clean close and it kind of goes back and forth, then I'm gonna avoid this here. But if it does have a clean close right there, I'll be putting my limit order at 45, 386. It needs to fill on this following candle. If it doesn't fill on the following candle, then there's no entry here. We have 20 seconds left, so I'll be waiting for it. Again, right here, see how price is going back and forth. I don't like that. I want price to have a clean break and close and retest and then continuation up higher. So this for sure has to close above. If it doesn't for sure close above and it's kind of going back and forth, I'm going to avoid it. Right here, it looks like it's not going to close above. So it's not that clean break and retest that I just talked about, right? Right here, this is something that we see a lot. Whenever you see price action here, it retest and it tests like the level, but it doesn't actually break past it. It pretty much invalidates it or it loses confidence, right? It's kind of similar to what happened over here. Look at this previous higher high. See how price over here tested it, but didn't actually close above it, and it came right back down, right? So this is a prime example of like what may happen right here. Price may have tested it, hasn't closed past it, and it might just come right back down before it comes right back up at some point. So I'll keep watching it here. I'll keep watching it, but there's just nothing here for us to uh to take because it didn't actually close past it. Let's see, question over here from Wonder Monkey 09. He's asking, what do you mean by imbalance? Is there a good place to read about it? So there's a couple different names for it. I mean, I call it imbalance because that makes the most logical sense. A lot of people call it fair value gaps. You can look that up. Fair value gaps probably going to be your easiest term to look up because it's a very popular concept. It's not a new concept. Imbalances have been around forever, but for a lot of new traders, a lot of people have been tossing around this term, fair value gap, which was coined by ICT. I hate talking about ICT because I don't follow anything that he says. He just pretty much rebranded a lot of things. But yeah, an imbalance is basically when price kind of gaps up a little bit between candles. So for example, you can kind of see how this candle over here gaps up with this big one between this one. Basically, this candle and this candle created imbalance. There's a small imbalance right here. That's why I marked it up. And it was helpful because we saw a break and retest off that imbalance, right? Where price pushed right through. Right here, price is pushing back below it. So like, see how price is now balanced because price had a small little gap here. It came up, it came below it right here and it closed below. With that being the case, this imbalance here is now invalidated. So there's no longer an imbalance here because it already balanced out. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to delete this and I'll be looking for another confluence there. Now there's actually an imbalance from the top end. I'm not going to mark it up here yet, but there is an imbalance right here from the top end. So basically from now this green candle to this red one, price pretty much pushed down with this strong red one, and these are not touching, so this is an imbalance. Now we have an imbalance right here touching for a break and retest to the downside, right? So we got price break below here, created an imbalance, retested right there, and now there may be opportunities to the downside from here. I'm not going to look for sells here because my overall bias is still bullish. You can see over here on the 1 minute, 5 minute. So basically the 1 minute's neutral, 5 minutes bullish, 15 minutes neutral, 30 minute, 1 hour, 4 hour, all bullish. So I'm still looking for buys here. There just hasn't been confirmation because this higher high never got closed past. So we'll see. Jonathan said, I noticed that whenever it doesn't close above it, it tends to sweep from that area. Yeah, exactly. So this could have been a sweep entry right here off that higher high, right? So this is a sweep to the downside. 40 points right there. Very similar to what happened earlier. So earlier today, we had another sweep from right here, right? Price came up, swept this area, and came right back down. So we talked about this yesterday. We're not really in much of a consistent directional market. Sweeps here are actually going to be, one of the easier trades to take because the sweeps happen pretty often at these liquidity zones, especially if there's a confluence there. So we do have an imbalance right here, guys. The imbalance was tested. So basically it came down, retested right here, and then came down lower. This here is a support. So this right here is an imbalance, and the one below it's an actual support. I'll just mark this up as imbalance so that you guys know that it's an imbalance and not a resistance. You can usually tell if it's an imbalance versus a resistance because the imbalance is like in the middle and then the resistance are at the ends, right? It's usually based off the highs and the lows. But you guys can see here, it's a pretty messy market, a lot of back and forth over here. I could clean this up, but I think it's better to have the multiple zones here to help identify where the actual, support and resistance is at. So we'll keep looking. Let's see. Rashida said 5 and 10 minute also have a buy momentum. We can possibly push up higher. Yeah, ideally, I'd like to see a push up higher. So what I'd like to see here is price to invalidate this imbalance right here, right? So we did have the break and retest off the imbalance. I'm now looking for price to come back up, mitigate this imbalance, and push up higher. If that's the case, my next entry is going to be right here at this higher high, 45,390. Hopefully this time it'll actually break past it. We don't have that here right now, but I'll put the price in my ticket window just in case. So 45,390 up there is the next area for a high-low break and retest. I don't like the ATR though. ATR is currently at 18, so it's still pretty slow. Ideally, I want to see it around 20, if not a little higher, but it doesn't matter. This ATR is normal. It's pretty much where it should be. But we do want a little bit higher because we want price to push up and hit our 40 points. Otherwise, you might be stuck in limbo once the break happens above here. So we'll keep watching. If you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. There's nothing to take right now, so I'll keep looking for opportunities here. Yeah, I'm not really strapped to take any entries at the moment. As you guys know, it's still early in the week. We talked about this yesterday. So looking at the news for this week, guys, there wasn't really too much here that was really impactful in the market. And there's nothing tomorrow either. So tomorrow might be choppy just like today and yesterday. The big news events come on Thursday and Friday. So on Thursday, we have jobs data over here. It's coming out pre-market. This is probably going to push market or push price around a bit. And on Friday over here, we have inflation data pre-market. So we might get a bunch of like sideways move from now until then. I mean, if you look at the chart here, it's pretty much sideways for the most part. So not just on the 1 minute, but if you look over here on the 5, this is a huge chop, right? There's prices pushing up, but it's going back and forth very often, right? Back and forth, back and forth. This isn't a good market to be trading in. right? You don't really want to trade in this type of market where price is pretty much going back and forth like this. So don't feel FOMO of taking entries, guys, because right now price is really not doing too much. We had a back and forth here on the 5 minute. It's even more clear on the higher time frame, like on the 15 minute, 30 minute actually. So look at the 30 minute over here. Look how market has not done anything today. Not just right now, but today, this whole day, right? Back and forth right here between the support and resistance. I mean, given we've had a pretty choppy market all throughout summer, so it's been pretty choppy over here. Big bullish push, drops to the downside, choppiness right here. Yeah, given that we had that sideways move, you can see over here that overall it's not really directional. So don't feel the need to force anything, guys. I mean, if you can see it over here on the higher time frame that there's not much direction, it gives you the bigger picture of like what's happening on the lower time frame. Because the lower time frame here, there's not much direction either, but on the higher time frame, it's even more clear. So if you see something good, I mean, feel free to take it. But right now, I don't see anything good. I'm still looking for some directional push here. Overall market structure is still bullish, so I'm looking for buys there. Overall bullish trend over here on the lower time frames, 1 minute, 5 minute, 15 minute prices above the pivots. Trend meter is green. Pivots are angling to the upside. So with that being the case, I'm still looking for buys here. Next opportunity for buy is going to be right here at 45,390. So 45,390 is going to be my opportunity right there for entry. If and when price does push above there. This imbalance looks like it's going to be invalidated. We have another imbalance down here, it looks like. Never retested, but yes, this is an imbalance right here. Ideally, I'd like to see that retest. Doesn't have to, but it's a nice touch. All right, so this imbalance is invalidated. What I'd like to see here is a possible come right back down, rejection off the imbalance, break above, continuation up higher. Let's take a look at my outlook for the day. So price has been bullish pretty much for the most part today. Looking at this, yeah, so price never came down here, so the bearish bias scenario never came through. The bullish bias over here, if price breaks past 45,550, maybe a continuation up higher. Maybe. Maybe, just maybe. But we'll see. Yeah, we will see as price continues to move along here. All right, still nothing here yet. All right, perfect. So we did get the test of this imbalance, but the imbalance did break past it. So I think this imbalance was mitigated and validated. So no longer an imbalance there. This red candle right here broke and closed past it. There was no retest of it. What I was looking for was for it to come down, retest, and push back up, but it didn't do that for here. So with that being the case, there's no longer going to be an imbalance there. Looking at this, we have a new lower high here. So this may be the opportunity for the push to the upside a little bit closer. What it looks like is happening here is we're starting to get a squeeze. So we had price kind of push up here for a little bit as price establishes tighter high lows and we start to get a squeeze, meaning that price starts to squeeze this way. It's possibly going to prepare for a breakout, right? So we're no longer getting that push to the upside. We're now getting price squeezing down. So as it squeezes down like this, tighter and tighter, you should expect, or you can expect, price to do something like this. It's in a wide range, and it gets tighter, tighter, and tighter, and then eventually it breaks out, either to the upside or to the downside. Ideally, I'd like to see that because, we just have a lot of sideways movement here, not really much of a directional push. So once we get that breakout, hopefully we'll get some directional push from there. But yeah, the imbalance there was invalidated. We now have prices going back and forth. We don't have a resistance established here yet. I mean, if we wanted to identify resistance, I guess we technically could from right here. So I'll just draw this up as a temporary resistance. So you guys have an idea of like where price is kind of ranging from right now. Nothing super crazy. All right. All right, guys. So nothing here right now so far. Price is retesting the support right here. It's kind of sitting down at that support level. I'm still looking for buys, but like I said right now, it is it's kind of just sitting here at the moment. So what I'm looking for is for price to push back up, break above this lower high and continue up higher. Again, if you guys have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat and then we will continue on with the analysis for today. It's 7:30, so we have 30 minutes till 8 o'clock. We still got a bit of some time, but the volatility here is starting to slow down a lot. If you look at the ATR, it was currently at, or before it was at 19. It dropped down to 18. Now it's dropped down to 15. So the lower that the ATR drops, this indicates that market is going to a heavier consolidation phase. So now obviously it's starting to consolidate a little bit. You want to keep an eye out for the ATR right here. If it picks up, great. We're going to have some volatility and some direction. If it drops, then we have, consolidation, sideways move. So let me clean this up right here. And I will continue to clean this up over here as well. So I'll see if this here becomes, if these support levels get invalidated. Right now, they're still okay, but we'll see. Let's see, Cameron's asking, hi, beginner trader here. I'm curious what position size you're using for this future as a 40-point move would only be a 0.1%. If you had only one, sure. No, that's no problem. There's no, you're a new trader. You gotta, if you're a new trader, there's really no dumb questions, right? Because you're a sponge. So let me see. If you're talking about one contract, right? Well, let's do the math here. This is the equation to calculate how much is it worth. So one contract times $5 per contract per point. So one contract times $5 per point times 40, right? Like you just mentioned. So if you were to take the trade and you want to trade here with just one contract, the bare minimum for the mini, you'd make 200. Your stop loss is at 20 points, so 1 times 5 times 20. So basically, you'd be risking 100 to make 200. So yeah, I mean it's a pretty decent amount. If you're trading the micro, then that's different, right? That would be like maybe $1. But because we're trading the mini here, it's $5 per point. So one contract times $5 per point times 40 points makes 200. So that's how much you would be making if you were to take, one of these trades here. For example, if you took the momentum breakout over here for 50 points, again, we'll do the math here. 1 times 5 times 50. A lot of people don't know the math for this. I know the math because I kind of have to know it with, with the hedge fund that I run. So I can explain it to someone who's a lay person and don't really understand like the equations to this. But yeah, basically, so like right here we went for 50 points. It was 1 times 5 times 50. Profit for that would be 250 for the mini contract. So sorry, if you have any silly questions that you think are silly, I mean, feel free to ask away, guys. I'm here to help you guys out. I mean, we're like, this is a downtime right now, so I can answer questions. Typically, if the market's very volatile and we have entries coming up, I'm not going to be able to answer questions, but this is a good time to answer questions, even if you think they're dumb questions, right? The thing with trading is, I always say there's no dumb questions in trading unless it's a really dumb question. Like if it's a question that's like it's not a learning opportunity, then 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 it might be a dumb question. But if you have a question that's regarding to trading or like anything that's relevant to what we're looking at here, then yeah, there's no dumb questions, guys. I only say that because I've said this a couple of times where I said there's no dumb questions, and then out of nowhere, someone comes up with a really, really dumb question that has nothing to do with trading. So yeah, if you guys have any trading related questions, feel free to put them in the chat. I can answer whatever you guys need help with. Yeah, no problem, Cameron. It's okay. If you have more questions, feel free to hop in the chat. Roger's asking, does this high-low break and retest work throughout the day or just on market open? So it works throughout the day, uh, Roger. I only use it during the morning because this is where my edge is. This is where the volatility is more consistent. This type of strategy works when the market is moving volatile, right? When there's actual volatility in the market. So yeah, there's going to be different phases where the market volatility is going to die down. Like for example, right now it kind of dies down between 7 and 8. So if you look at the market, let's go over here real quick. I'll show you yesterday's market because I've been trading this for a long time now, YM. So I kind of understand like when the market's moving, when it's not moving. Usually it dies down around 8 o'clock. So between 8 o'clock and like maybe 9 to 10, it dies out. And then it picks up between 10 and 12 or 11 and 12. So this is yesterday's market on Monday. So see over here how the market kind of dies down between 7 o'clock. So this is 7 o'clock right here and 8 o'clock. That's why I try to get my entry between 6:30 and 7 because the volatility was right here. Market here kind of flattens out between 7 and 8. And then right here again, like I mentioned, between like 8 and like basically 10 o'clock, it starts to die out again right here, it goes flat. And then it starts to pick back up again right here between 10 and 11. So there's pockets in the market where like the strategy will work because the market's volatile. And there's times in the market where it just doesn't work because there's no volatility, right? There's no direction. So for me personally, I like to take my trades between 6:30 and 7. If the market continues to move between 7 and 8, I'll look for entries here. There was still movement here between 7 and 8. It just wasn't very volatile like it was prior. And then you can see over here between 8 and 9, it just goes back and forth, sideways move. And then between or 8 and 10, and then here from 10 to 12, you have back into a directional move, right? So yeah, if you want to note that, you can note that in the future, but the strategy works all throughout the day. There just has to be volatility and there has to be direction. If there's no volatility, no direction, it's not going to work because it is a directional strategy. So looking over here at my playbook, you just have to understand when to apply certain strategies, right? Let me open up my playbook real quick. So my playbook over here so I'm looking at directional strategies. Mainly I'm looking at the high-low break and retest. The other alternative to that is the MPSV2, another directional move. Right now, we're in a sideways market, right? So right now, the best strategies to apply would be liquidity sweeps and V1 variations. The thing is, the market's not always going sideways, right? It's going sideways maybe 60 to 70% of the time, but if you can wait for price to move directional again, like I am right here. I'm waiting for this directional push for the directional strategies. So basically, my main playbook that I use is one directional strategy, which is high-low break and retest, and momentum breakout right here for the 2 minute momentum orb. Again, there's two different breakouts you can take, the orb or the momentum breakout. They're both good. They're just different. One's a market order, one's a limit order. And same here with the sideways strategies, right? If you want to take the sweeps. So they're all kind of like they're all a little different. But that's kind of what I'm looking for and what I'm using right there. Yeah, exactly. Rashida said just chop. Market's super choppy right now. Not really too much to work with here. Again, like I said earlier, I was looking for price to break and close above this area up here. Never came up. We had another lower high right here. Price pretty much swept this lower high. Price came down, came up. Strong sweep right here and continuation down lower. So you guys can see here the sweeps are working pretty decently. It's just you have to be comfortable with taking those sweeps. Yeah, no problem, Roger. Glad I could help you with that. Let's see another question from Cameron. So Cameron's asking, but you need to have 45K capital to enter position, which is why I'm guessing prop firms are beneficial. No. Where'd you get that number from? Because it's kind of a random number. You can trade futures with as little as 10,000 on a live account to cover the margin. I'm not sure where you got the 45K from. Because even when you trade a prop firm, you don't even get that 45K or 50K. That's another thing that you have to understand too. Like with prop firms, for example. You don't really you don't really like they give you a 50K account, but it's not really 50K, right? So I'll show you a couple numbers here. I know you're a beginner, so you probably don't realize this stuff, but um yeah, like for example here, if you're to get an account with Apex, like 50K, you don't really get a 50K account, it's just leverage, right? You can only risk 2,500. So you're not really getting a full 50,000. I mean, yeah, it's 50,000 with leverage and margin, etc., but just to cover the margin per the trade, but you don't need this much to trade it. I mean, you can trade YM with as little as 10,000. Um, but I mean, yeah, for some people, maybe that's not a little bit, right? I mean, that's a lot of money for if that's the case, then you could trade the micro. The mini, you need at least around 10,000 to take a day trade. If you don't have 10,000, you maybe have like around 1,000, you can probably trade the micro, but not the mini. So instead of trading YM, you trade MYM. So I mean, there's ways to trade. You don't need 45,000. That's a big amount of money, right? I mean, if that was the barrier of entry, then there wouldn't be very many traders out there. That was probably the barrier of entry, like in like the 90s or the 80s, right? Because you weren't able to leverage your margin, but now it's different. I mean, the leverage is still pretty low in the US, but it's you don't need 45,000. All right, guys, we got price coming down lower. With this being the case, market structure over here is it's still pretty bullish, but it's starting to shift a little bit. So the 1 minute is strong bearish, 1 hour is bearish, 5 minutes still bullish, 30 minutes bullish, and the 4 hour is still bullish. 15 minutes neutral down below. But let's take a look at the overall trend over here. So the 1 minute's now bearish, prices below the pivots, trend meters red, pivots are angling to the downside. The 5 minute here is still bullish, surprisingly. And the 15 minute here is now neutral because price is in between the pivots, the trend meter is blue, and the pivots are going sideways. So with that being the case here, we do have a bit of a mixed bias. So 1 minute, 15 minute, 30 minute, 1 hour are now shifting to bearish. The 5 minute and the 4 hour is still bullish. So we'll see here as price continues to move along. Let me clean this up a little bit. So we'll clean that up. Or let me go to my chart real quick. Let me just make as many cleanups here as possible. Let's see, I'm gonna clean this up right here. I'm gonna clean this up right here. We have a resistance now in that area. The support's still there. All right, so let me just go and clean this up. This is broken liquidity there. And now we have a resistance, which is up here. We have another resistance, which is up here. And we have a couple. So we have an imbalance right here. It kind of lines up with the support below, but there is an imbalance here. It's a little messy, but hopefully you guys can kind of see through this mess and use this to your advantage. So we have an imbalance right here, guys. If price comes back and retests this area, price can likely push down lower. If it mitigates this imbalance and pushes back up, then maybe we have a push to the upside here. So here we go. As price pushes down about 40 points. Let's see. Cameron said thank you and okay, right? I don't have I don't have any knowledge of futures at the moment. Just found your page today. Thought it was like a stock that you had to buy one share. I grabbed. Okay, yeah, no, definitely. Yeah, so you are on the right track, Cameron. And that's what I thought initially too. So that's where you got the number from. Okay, that makes sense. So yeah, 45,000 is to buy a whole like if you want to buy a whole share, right? But we're not buying a share here. We're buying contracts of futures. So you're basically buying a percentage of the entire share, right? So yes and no. You are yeah, if you were to buy the actual index, so like for example, if you wanted to buy like you would just buy the ETF of it, right? Which would be I don't know what the ETF would be for this. It would be DIA. No, it's just DIA is a spider. So you can see over here the numbers are kind of similar, but it goes into the decimals, right? So it's 452.76 because it's a portion of it. So basically for the index over here that follows it, it's very similar to like where price is. So this is the we'll just give her a number here. ETF, right? Where you can buy a share of it, but the actual future or yeah, the future would be 45,286, right? Does that make sense? So it's very similar. It's just the ETF. If you want to buy the ETF of it, it's going to be a little less because they just put a decimal point there instead of, the full amount. But it's very similar. So yes, you are on the right track. It's just futures are different compared to actual stocks if you're trading the ETF. The thing with futures is that you can leverage. So that's a good thing with it, right? You can leverage it. You can still trade the same asset, but you can leverage where you can kind of multiply your money with less to start out because you're not buying a full contract, you're not buying a full stock of it. You're buying, a portion of it, which is a contract size. I know it's a little tricky and a little confusing if you're trying to compare it to stocks. This is the same thing that I've had this conversation with a couple other people too, where they're new to futures and they don't understand that you don't have to buy a share of it, you just buy a portion of it. That's why there's minis and there's micros, right? If you're to buy a standard, like say for example, if this is a mini, if you were to buy a standard, then yes, you'd have to buy the whole thing. But because this is mini, you're buying a portion of it, and then micro is even a smaller portion of it. And you're not really buying it. You're kind of like, if you understand how the futures market works, this is supposed to be used as a hedge, but we trade it directional. So, I mean, I could go all day and go deeper and deeper into the topic, but you don't need to know all that information. Yeah, you only need to know that information if you're studying for a financial exam, right? Which is what I am. I'm taking the series 3, so that's why I know this information because I studied for it and I'm taking tests for it. So it's it's a lot of information that you don't need to know, but if you want to be, a trading advisor or open hedge fund or have an I or something in the financial space, you would have to know this information. But the normal person wouldn't need to know this stuff. Like I wouldn't know this stuff unless I had to learn it. Um, it's kind of pointless because once I'm done taking the test, it's not like I'm going to remember this for the most part. Yeah. So yeah, if anybody's looking to take, a financial exam, if you want to trade futures, it's the Series 3, which is what I'm taking because I have the Series 3 hedge fund or the futures hedge fund. If you want to trade stocks and options, it'd be like the 63 or the 7. There's a whole bunch of different financial exams that you can take depending on which asset you guys want to focus on. Series 63 is more of like a wider scale of different assets, but the Series 3 is just futures. So I'm focusing mainly on futures here because that's what I trade, right? I trade stocks too, but I don't necessarily trade stocks for investors and stuff. It's mainly just this stuff here. Let me see that. Okay, so I still have the imbalance right here, guys. Price has not retested yet. So looking at this here, price may come up, retest the imbalance and come back lower. Or if it invalidates it, it may break above and continue pushing up higher from there. But yeah, guys, if you guys have any more questions, feel free to put your questions in the chat. Right now is a dead period for me. There's not really much to take. You can see here that price is pretty much just in a really wide range today, right? Nothing really happened. Price pretty much opened right here at 630, came up for a bit, and then came right back down to that opening price. So realistically, if you were to measure where price moved from opening price, which is this blue line, it's only pushed about 8 points. It pushed up earlier up here about 80 points, but it came right back down. And the net movement here is about 6 points from open. So not much here at all. Let's see, RX said I'm looking at things in a different way now. I can use patience as an asset. I'm more lazy, not more eager. My heart rate is lower because I'm not hunting a trade I was waiting for. Reminds me of the old US 30 trade I could take. Just patience is the key. Yeah, exactly, Arik. The main goal right here is not necessarily to chase trades, right? You want to wait for those trades to come to you, and then once the trade comes to you, then execute on that move. But right now, we just don't have any trades to execute on, right? We've been looking for price to break and close past structure up here for us to take those buys, but price never came up to this area here. Never came up to this area here and it never came up to this area here, right? So we just never had opportunities here for buys. Price has been kind of just going back and forth. Initially, we would have tried to get something over here, but there just hasn't been much of a move. It's been a choppy market. We've pretty much been expecting this. We weren't really. This is kind of what we were expecting throughout the day. It was like the news here, there wasn't much of a catalyst. So like really price is kind of just sitting where what we're opened up from earlier. Again, let's take a look at the news for today. We had a couple news events, but they weren't really anything to push price around. Aside from durable good orders pre-market, other than that, there's nothing else here today. So tomorrow, again, we have a slow day with regard to news. As you guys know, we're currently in a news-driven market, right? A lot of things here move based off like Trump or tariff news or inflation news or interest rate news. There's none of that stuff that's happening today, right? Trump hasn't spoken today. There's no interest rate news release. There's no release. There's no Fed news. There's nothing that really affects the market so heavily that will cause the market to really spike or move in a direction. So we're probably gonna have a slow market until maybe Thursday, guys, because tomorrow there's nothing happening. Unless like Trump decides to speak tomorrow for whatever reason. There's nothing on the calendar for tomorrow. There isn't even any Fed speakers today, right? So looking over here on Wednesday, Wednesday's probably going to be the slowest day out of all. So Wednesday's probably going to be slower than yesterday and today. And then Thursday's where we have the real news events. So we have jobs data right here pre-market, and then Friday we have inflation data. So just keep that in mind. Don't again tomorrow. Don't feel the need to force any trades because there's probably going to be it's going to be a similar market to today. A lot of back and forth. Um, and then we'll see what happens, with the following Thursday, Friday. I think those days are going to be probably the best days for us to be trading, to be honest. But all right, guys. Yeah, if there's any other questions, feel free to put them in the chat. It's 7:52 right now. We have about 8 minutes till 8 o'clock. Um, as you guys know, my cutoff for trading is 8 o'clock. I don't really see anything here, so there's nothing for me to take at the moment. You guys can see our price is kind of just going back and forth between this middle area. Looks like we had a little bit of a break and retest right there off the off the imbalance, but not a really strong one. Yeah, RX said I'll normally find a cheat sheet when I'm taking state, federal, regulated things. You're right. You won't remember none of those details. My motto is better cheat than repeat. That's a good one. All right. Better cheat than repeat. Yeah. So with me too, with the exam that I'm taking, I'm pretty much memorizing the questions, right? So like right here, You can see I've taken a total of like 978 questions. I'm at an 81.80% average. So this is good. I just need a 70% to pass it. Once I pass this, I can have the hedge fund up and running again. I just got to get this license here to adhere to the regulatory requirements. So before I was able to manage the hedge fund for about 15 clients, there was no problem there. But once I started managing for more and more funds, then you need to have a license. So in order for me to keep growing the hedge fund, I need to have the license, which is I'm hopefully going to get by next month. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you, Ark. I mean, not exactly on the cheating aspect of it, but yes, I do agree with you. Like, since you're not going to know the information, you don't need the information. Um, the shortcut to it is really to just memorize the test, and that's kind of what I'm doing. I understand the equations, I understand the mathematics of things. Now it's just really memorizing the answers so that when I get to the test, I'm just like boom, 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 right? I just knock out the questions super quickly because they look the same. So if you guys are looking to take any type of financial exam, I do highly recommend Kaplan. I mean, here you can see this is my series three. Um, if you're like an A-type thinker, like if you're an A-type thinker and you're looking for the shortcut and you just want to kind of memorize things, Kaplan would be great. If you want to actually learn and understand the concepts, Kaplan's probably not going to be your best option because they don't teach you much there. I have to use ChatGPT for explanations. That's how I figured out the equations and I figured out like the shortcuts and stuff like that. But other than that, I'm just memorizing the tests. As you guys know, I was an attorney before I became a full-time trader, so I'm used to memorizing stuff. I took the bar exam. I don't remember anything from the bar exam. I just remembered all the test topics. I memorized all the answers, and I was able to pass the California bar exam by just mainly through memorization. It's a lot of stuff to memorize, right? The California bar exam is like one of the hardest tests you can take, and yeah, it took me a lot of memorizing, literally hours and hours of memorizing thousands and thousands of pages, um, and then kind of just spitting out all that information once you come down to the test. I'm a horrible test taker, so you know, uh, I for the most part, like I wouldn't say I have a photographic memory, but I do have a pretty good memory at like seeing patterns and stuff. That's why I got so good at trading. So, I've been trading for about 12 years now. I got good at trading because I'm able to see these patterns without really thinking about it too much. I've been trading live with you guys every day for 8 years now. This high low and break and retest pattern that I've been looking at, I've been watching this pattern for years and years and years, every single day. So for me, it's easy to just say, okay, if price breaks above this area, I'm looking for that to retest and continue up higher, right? This again is going to be the nearest entry for high low break and retest if you guys are looking to take that buy. It's going to be right here at 45,350. So it's kind of beneficial to have, somewhat of a photographic memory because, especially with trading, because I'm always looking for the same move, right? I'm always looking for that high-low break and retest. And because I've seen it so many times, it doesn't require much of me to really identify it and take it. So next entry point is going to be right here at 45,350. We're really close to 8 o'clock, so I'm probably not going to take that trade there. My rules are set in place, no trading after 8, and it's 7:57 right now. So we're getting really close to 8 o'clock. If you guys want to take it again, just keep in mind your entry is going to be right here at this higher high. I know chart's a little messy, but you can see it there. It's right there at that higher high for a break and retest. So you look for a clean break past it, retest, continuation up higher. This is actually a perfect move. Now that I'm looking at it, it's a really nice clean setup because it looks like if it does break and retest from here, the 40 points is going to be at this next higher high. So you're basically going to be riding this to the next high. Break passes higher high, continuation to the next higher high right there. So this is a pretty good setup if you guys are looking to take it. So I'm probably gonna get off this live session, and if you guys do get on this live, or if you guys want to continue taking trades, I would keep an eye out for this higher high right here. Look for price to have a clean break, retest, continuation up higher. Because the logic here just makes sense with this entry. Yeah, Nick said I've been going through that testing cycle with the EA test too, just memorizing questions. Yeah, exactly, Nick. If you're not good at learning, like understanding the topic, then I mean, you should understand the topic to some extent so that you know how to like analyze the question. But yeah, if you're not a good test taker, memorizing is like the way to go. Ark said used to take a lot more of the high-low and quick scalps. Remember? Yeah, exactly. So very similar concept to the high-low scalps and the quick scalps. Arc, it's just for this one right here, instead of getting in right away, we're setting pending orders, right? Which I like better because whenever you enter the high-low scalp for market, a lot of times you get in at slippage, right? Like sometimes you want to get in like right here. And I know this was always a problem with you too when you were getting to those quick scalps because you try to get in and then you end up like way up here, you end up way down here, right? And that would always piss you off. Like it would piss everybody off because you're like, you want to get in right here at 45, 350, and you get in, you're like, what the heck? I'm up way over here. And then now your stop loss is way tighter where it should be. Right. That's why I like the limit orders here because if you fill at this price point, you get in exactly at 45, 350. If you don't get in, they don't fill your order. So that's the good thing uh about this here. Same strategy. It just uses a better confirmation. So, all right, guys, it is 8 o'clock. If you guys have any more questions, feel free to put them in the chat. I'm able to answer whatever you guys need help with right now. Otherwise, there's no fill here for any of these entries. So it looks like I'm going to be wrapping this up pretty soon. If you guys are just joining in, or if you guys just want a quick recap on like what came up today. So we had the momentum breakout, which came up today over here for a full TP, 50 points. I got onto this live session late, so I wasn't able to take this one. I'm assuming some of you guys took this. I'm assuming Sam, you probably took this because you've been killing it with the momentum breakout for this past couple of weeks. Momentum breakout's been hitting pretty much every day for I think the past 2 or 3 weeks now. So I know Sam's like one of the more consistent people taking the breakouts. I think Jonathan as well. I don't know if Jonathan's here right now. He probably took it and just got off the live, or he just took it and then just was done for the day. But yeah, Jonathan usually takes that as well. Those are the profits that he's been posting. So Jonathan yesterday he took the momentum breakout, locked in 488. Took the same trade yesterday, the day before that, 244. Took the same trade like that on Friday, 685. So you can see which ones are Jonathan's profits because the screenshots are they're pretty obvious. Like they look like this. Um, and he's been taking the breakout pretty much every day, the momentum breakout specifically. So with that being the case right here, guys, this is a quick question from Roger. Roger's asking, how does the momentum breakout work? So yeah, I'll give you a quick explanation. It's a very simple strategy. You would need my tools to apply this strategy though. So the way that the strategy works is basically you're waiting until 6:29, right? Right before market opens. Market opens at 6:30. So what you're doing here is you're just looking back at the most recent momentum signal. So for example, right here, the momentum signal is green. So as soon as market opens up right here at 6:30, you take the buy and then you let the trade just run to your target. Full TP right there, right? This was from today. Let's go to yesterday's real quick. I'm just going to show you again, very simple concept. You're just looking for, so market opens right here at 6:30, right? So here's 6:29. See how the most recent momentum signal here is a buy signal? Right there, you would just take the buy as soon as market opens up, and then you do the same thing. You go for a 50-50. Like this is basically a no-brainer type strategy. You don't have to do anything. You just have to look at where the momentum's at. But again, you need my tool here to apply this. If you want to use my tool, I mean, you can get a free access to it and try it out if you like. You just go to the website. Website is codykaitrades.com. Click on this for your free access, and it'll give you a promo link to get like 7 days free access to like the tools and the indicators. So basically, again, right here, 629, you're looking back to see where the most recent momentum signal is. It's a buy signal, so you're taking a buy here. Market opens up, price kind of goes back and forth a little bit from right there, and then it goes straight up to hit its target again for 50 points. So, I mean, if you're looking for something that's very, very simple and very, very easy, the momentum breakout's probably as easy as it gets. The only thing that you have to be careful for is market slippage, right? Market slippage is probably going to be your worst enemy because if you're entering at 6:30, you're off by a second or a couple seconds, you can easily get stopped out due to market slippage if you don't get prime entry. That's why for me, instead of taking this, I like to take the limit orders instead of market orders. I've been taking market orders for years, but um, I started to realize that like it's really risky in a lot of instances because a lot of times sometimes you'll get in like super way up here or way down here, and it'll either work to your advantage or not, but it's not very consistent. So yeah, that is the momentum breakout strategy right there. The high-low break and retest, guys, was actually on this lower high right here. So there was a new lower high here that was established, and it's currently running. So if you guys are in this position right here, this is a high-low break and retest currently running to the upside. I'm not in this position here, but I'll just mark it up for you guys there if you guys want to follow it or if you guys are in the position. So yeah, that's the position right there. I'm not in this position. Like I said, we talked about this earlier. Once 8 o'clock hits, price tends to go sideways, right? And you don't want to trade in a sideways market. So like we talked about earlier, this isn't the best time to take directional moves, but if you guys do want to take this here, there is a high-low break and retest currently running right now, and it'd be moving to the upside. So, all right, guys, I think that's it for the day. If you guys have any questions, let's see, Ark has a couple more here. Ark said, but it's a pending order, right? Buy limit under price. It's right at price, not under price, but right at price, wherever the high is at. So wherever the high is at, that's where the price would be, where your entry would be waiting. So yeah, you'd have a limit pending order right there, just waiting for it to fill. So like for example, right here, this candle broke and closed past it. The limit order would be waiting right there, right below it. But this isn't a good time to take these entries because, like I mentioned earlier, market goes sideways, and this is a directional strategy. So you only want to take it when the market's moving directional. But I mean, if you want to take it, it's still running. I wouldn't recommend taking it, but there is a position there to look at if you guys are looking to take that there. Yeah, CJ said it's at the 45,350, and yeah, I just did that right now. So I think this here should probably play through. Obviously, I wouldn't fade my own analysis, but because the market conditions here are now kind of choppy and going sideways, I wouldn't recommend taking this entry here. But all right, guys, it is past 8 o'clock. I'm done trading for the day. If you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to me on Discord. Otherwise, I'll see you guys back here tomorrow for the next live session. Yeah, the volume is too low. All right, there's no point in taking trades right now. The ATR is very, very low. It's currently at 13. So this is basically a signal to stay out of the market. Wait until it picks up back to 20, and then once it picks up to 20, then start looking for entries again from there. Otherwise, you're going to be stuck in this back and forth movement right here, consolidation. So, all right, guys, that's it. If you guys have any questions, feel free to hit me up. Otherwise, I will see you guys.